Okay, I believe we should be live. How's it going, everyone? My name is Mitchell Mander, and welcome to another live discussion of Pokemon Horizons. We're going to be talking about episode 82 in today's live discussion. So, pretty much everybody versus Rayquaza. Our boy Roy finally achieved his dreams? And we're now heading to Rayquaza? What? So, yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, just to kind of give the lowdown for those that are new here. Usually I give it a couple minutes here at the beginning, maybe about 5-ish minutes, usually 5 to 10 minutes to let people come in, start chatting away. And then I usually give my summary of the episode, and then I hand it over to the chat after I give my rating. So, yeah, just talking about the episode and chatting about the episode, the next episode, and what do we think is happening next. And then, yeah, we just go from there. Usually lasts about an hour and a half. So, there's that. Another thing to mention here, as you can hear, the music in the background comes from a separate stream, the Video Game Study Lounge. I have a link in the description, so you guys could check that out sometime. Pretty much lo-fi remixes of video game music. And also some original stuff in there too. Like, as you can tell, they are doing some Zelda lo-fi here of Kakariko Village from Twilight Princess. Pretty cool. Usually listen to it when I'm studying, working out, reading. I'm at work, I need something to distract me from the workday. Yada yada. Anyways, you should check it out sometime. Game Chops. Pretty cool stuff. Anyways, let's see who we got here. We got Devin here, and I already know how you feel about it. But I'm going to give my thoughts about it in a little bit. Well, when I get to my summary part. What's up, Pokefan? Who saw what's it? Iono? No, I'll just refer to you as Iono, if that's okay. What's up, Iono? I like this episode, and I love the next ones. And I'll love the next ones. Sounds good. Another thing, too, is go ahead and vote in the poll above. Give me what you think you'd rate the episode out of. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, or lower than 5. Also, be sure to like the stream. Liking it actually helps boost in the algorithm. Maybe get some more people in here to talk about the episode. I definitely appreciate it. Got 7 people here. Can we get to 5 likes here before I get to my summary? Would be cool. Anyways, how are you guys doing today? How's your weekend going? Everything going good? I hope so. Definitely don't hate the episode. Wasn't bad, just alright at most. Yeah, I'll give it some of my thoughts here in a minute. I think for me, I think subs actually helped this episode a lot. Very good, and how are you? How are yours? My weekend's going pretty good. And we hit 5 likes. Thank you, guys. Let's keep going. Let's get as many likes as we can up in here. Going to a friend's later today. That's cool. Hope you have a fun time there. But yeah, I'm just chilling here, but ready to talk about this episode. Hey, look. Final Fantasy IX music. A game that I am currently doing a Let's Play of, so if you guys want to check that out sometime, it'd be pretty cool. I only have 2 more episodes left before I'm done with the game. Okay, we'll give it about a couple more seconds here, and then I'm going to start giving my thoughts about this episode. 10 more seconds. Alright, guys, we're going to be talking about episode 82 of Pokemon Horizons, Everybody versus Rayquaza. So, yep, we're going up against Rayquaza, Liko, Roy, and Dot. Their starter Pokemon haven't exactly recovered from their battle against Gouging Fire, so they can't terrestrialize, so they don't have that option. More on that in a little bit, but, so, we got Freed backing up with Captain Pikachu and Charizard, whereas Briar actually takes care of Terrapagos, while everyone's battling. Now, the initial strategy is actually to basically utilize the terrain to their advantage, which they do at first, where they're basically Freed is luring Rayquaza upwards, and then Dot has her Pokemon start whacking it, and then everybody else jumps in there and whacks it as well as it's coming down. So the initial strategy kind of works a little bit. They're chipping away, but it's not really doing much damage, as Liko mentions. Is like, even though they're hitting it, it's really not hurting it a whole lot. However, it starts to overpower them, and then they come up with another strategy where they try to do what they did against Gouging Fire with the electricity and the waterfall. So Roy takes out Kilowattrel, flies up with Freed and starts using Flamethrower to push Rayquaza back, backs it up against a waterfall. Liko and Dot use this opportunity to break some of the boulders so they can nearby to release the water so that it splashes on the Rayquaza. And then Pikachu hits it with an electric attack and does quite a bit of damage, but that's still not enough. And then after this point, it starts taking out some of the Pokemon. Quaxwell, Tinkatuff, are taken out. Charizard is taken out as well. Eventually, Floragato and Hatterene are taken out as well. At least the secondary Pokemon were relevant. Also, Kilowattrel gets taken out as well. Yeah. So, all the secondary Pokemon get taken out, but now that Floragato and Quaxwell are taken out, that leaves pretty much just Crocodile and Captain Pikachu. So we do get that awesome moment where Pikachu basically just headbutts Rayquaza into the sky, but then it comes back down with Dragon Ascent and one-shots it. So Captain Pikachu is out as well. Anyways, I paused for a second there because I see a bunch of people showing up. So Captain Pikachu is out, and now it's we're kind of running out of options because now Crocodile's by itself. But that's when Terrapagos steps in, powers up, and starts assisting Crocodile. Ends up using Protect to shield it from damage, and we find out that Terrapagos, or Pagogo, what do you want to call it? I'll just call it Terrapagos to make it easy. Learns Ancient Power, or at least knows Ancient Power. It's revealed in this episode, and uses it. That's cool. The one thing I find interesting is that Rayquaza uses Dragon Ascent, and Terrapagos ends up using Terra Starstorm, and it actually collides with the Dragon Ascent and sends Rayquaza flying back. And they did note at this point that both sides are kind of becoming exhausted. Rayquaza's taken, slowly taking damage over time, and, it's also taken out everybody around it. But Terrapagos steps in and, essentially saves the day, really. But Rayquaza gets pushed back, and it's stuck against, like, a side on the crater. And then, that's when Terrapagos transfers its Terra energy over to Crocodile, and we get to see Crocodile use Flame Charge again, like it did back in episode 45, but now it's powered up with the power of Terra, as well as also having evolved. So it's much stronger than the previous time it hit Rayquaza, so it did a little bit more damage, and Roy took this opportunity to throw the Ancient Pokeball at Rayquaza, and it is caught. So yeah! Roy caught Rayquaza? What? Yes, but no, it still loses his Pokemon, so it doesn't quite trust him yet. So, and Freed kind of points that out because Rayquaza's not listening to Roy. We do get a flashback of everyone in Rayquaza, so that was kind of nice. It looks like Rayquaza's in the sky. I don't know. I guess we'll find out more as we go towards Rayquaza and figure out where it is exactly. But it looks like Rayquaza wants to lead us there, so we're on our way to Rayquaza. Also, Liko, Roy, and Dot also inform their parents about what's going on, and a little nice scene there at the end. Also plays the opening theme there as they're flying off, so that was cool. So yeah, I think that that pretty much wraps up this episode. So overall, I mean, I did enjoy this episode. I think that I don't know if I would call it controversial. I haven't seen too many people like complaining about it, to be honest. I would say that there are a few nitpicks I do have with this one, though. I get what they're doing, and I wanted to wait until subs came out because I wanted to see what was being said so that we can get context as to what's going on. And yeah, I will say, on one hand, I like the strategies used here. It shows that, once again, the kids have picked up a lot over time and have gotten a lot better as trainers, and going up against constantly powerful Pokemon is going to do that to them. The secondary Pokemon obviously didn't last very long, but that was to be expected. But then again, the starters didn't really last super long either, besides Crocodile, which outlasted everybody. But, so there's that. I think the battle was fine. I think some of the strategies were used. I do think that power scaling is a bit of an issue lately in this series, because especially with this arc, it seems like the power scaling has kind of gone out the window a little bit. I think a lot of people can agree that the power scaling is a little bit wonky right now, but yeah, it's I mean, this is not something new. The prior series had bad power scaling too, but it seemed like we were consistent up until this arc, so I don't know. Maybe we can talk about that later. But Rayquaza, I mean, it kind of felt like I don't know if I'd call this worse, though. I'd say the previous series was way worse. But, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to talk about that some other time. But for this episode, I think it was fine. I just have a few nitpicks here and there. Secondary Pokemon probably didn't need to be taken out so quickly, but it is Rayquaza after all. But like Freed's Pokemon were taken out as well, so it's not like Freed was safe here. Then again, that happened back in episode 45, but yeah. So I think overall this episode was fine. I'd probably give it like an 8 in my opinion. I don't think I'd give it like a 10 out of 10. Maybe like an 8.5 or something like that for me. I still think it's a pretty solid episode overall. But yeah. Anyways, let's get back to the chat, because I see all this chat going on and I gotta like respond to it all before it gets too overbearing. So what do you guys think? Anyways, one of my only complaints is Tinkatuff getting hit by Dragon Pulse and taking damage. It's the Pokemon anime, bro. This typing doesn't matter half the time. I think it fainted from the impact from falling. I feel like they honestly just don't know being exposed to Terrapagos permanently changed their Terra Orbs. What's good, Bobby? Okay. Power scaling is so screwed, man. What is going on? Hey, man. Hi, Sharon. I'm just gonna ignore the fact that when Rayquaza used Dragon Pulse, it knocked out Lika's Heterim, a fairy type. Yeah, it's just pretty much, again, we just ignore, we ignore typing, occasionally. Heterim is pure psychic. Ooh, never mind. So we see a picture of Amitheo's mom in the next episode. Is it her mom? Is it his mom or is it his grandma? We don't get I don't think we get clarification on that. Don't get fairy tale evolution. Gotcha. It's psychic fairy? For real? I was like, Kilowattrel and Tinkertuff and Heterim got knocked out quick, which is expected. They don't really train them, use them a whole lot. So that part makes sense. You're going to complain about the power scaling, but if there's one thing that makes sense, it's the secondary Pokemon that are hardly used. Getting taken out easily is fine. Makes sense. The trap is given its Terralized energy to Crocodile, like how Ash's Pikachu and Electric-type took out ground types before. Yeah, pretty much. Again, the anime has done this before, so this is nothing new. I'd say it was probably worse in the older series, but, like, yeah. When Black Rayquaza used Dragon Ascending, it looks like the normal green one. A little bit, yeah, it's Aura. Heterim, but Hatena and don't get Fairy Tale evolution. Very common misconception. I gotcha. Are you sure? Because Roy won't keep Rayquaza. Yeah, I'm kind of not sure what's gonna happen. We'll find out soon enough. What's up, Kevin? I have some thoughts on this. When Terrapagos was given Crocodile its power, I thought it was using Moonblast. Gotcha. It's just sharing its energy, like a Spirit Bomb or Genkidama. I can't believe I was wrong about Heterim's typing. Oh, no, you're good. No, you're good. It happens. When you got like 1,000+ Pokemon, it's kind of hard to keep track of everything. What's up, Steven? Whenever the Legend ZA starters should get one, you could get the Liko getting the water starter, Roy getting the grass starter, and Dot getting the fire starter. I have no idea what they're gonna do. We'll see. Still need a little bit more. We actually need like info on that game before we can actually like speculate anything. Mostly I just watch episodes and I don't know how, but none of them seem bad to me. Maybe I'm fastidious. I mean, I like episodes. I don't like some episodes. It's usually how it goes. Or I'm just in between. I don't feel dumb. Mistakes happen. Yeah, like I said, when you have 1,000+ of these mons, it's kind of hard to keep track of everything. I didn't see it as, you know, I hear updates, but when I heard Roy caught Rayquaza and gave it to Liko, I can't believe that mean Roy accomplished his goal. Not quite. He caught it, but it doesn't trust him yet. I guess his next phase of his goal would be to earn its trust if Lucius decides to give it to him or whatever. Since we know Lucius is going to be showing up here, and he is still alive, yeah. Guess we'll see what happens. Mitchell, did you notice we see a picture of Matheo's mom in the preview for next week's episode? I saw what you said. I said do we know if it's his mom or if it's grandma? It almost feels like it might be his grandma, but who knows? We'll find out on Friday next week. Emerald, like, they gotta think this or crazy as an anime, like this dude can fly through space, and like Qualgronon Kyogre masters a literal land and see it's too much. Well, it might be a different Rayquaza because it is shinies. These trainers besides Freight are like skilled, but you're telling me they were handling the legendaries much better than say Gary and Ash. Are you talking about that one episode in the series that shall not be named? Yeah, we don't talk about that one. That one was that was actually kind of dumb. I also think the legendaries were testing them too, not trying to just destroy them. Well, maybe Rayquaza was trying that a little bit. Lumio City Ghost Girl lore and Legends EA, yeah, to be honest, when the office cutscene happened, she was like, "You're not the one." I kept trying to find her afterwards. Oh, not saying that they're necessarily weak, but this is Rayquaza. I get that. It's already demonstrated his power in episode 45. Granted, the kids are stronger than they were back then. Not to mention Freed's helping out, and they have the advantage of the terrain, but yeah. That's kind of what I was looking for subs for. Because subs is actually going to give context as to what's going on and what their strategy was. Which is what the initial strategy was and what they tried with, what they did the gouging fire to actually beat it. Which it did hit Rayquaza, but, you know, it wasn't enough to take it out. Anyways, but yeah, I would say this arc in particular, the power scaling has kind of gone through the roof. More so than, like, any previous arc, for sure. Kind of started from the very beginning, but yeah. Terrapagos actually, like, matched the Dragon Ascent, so... Kind of shows, but it's kind of implying that, you know, Terrapagos has its full power, so it's definitely stronger now, so... Be interesting to see how much power the little guy has now. But that's with 5 of the 6 heroes. It was able to literally, basically nullify that attack. I mean, it obviously took damage too, but it sent Rayquaza back and got stuck on the wall, so... Anyways, where was I? I'm never gonna get caught up. I think the future they need to let the starters get knocked out a battle like this, so the secondary Pokemon have to battle. Agreed. Do you think we will learn about Metheo's mom, Grandma in the next week's episode? I would assume so. I don't think they're showing off their picture for no reason. Anyways, where was I? Yeah, when it used Dragon Sun and noticed it looked green. Yep. Preview for the next episode was like, what? Lucius is alive? That's a trailer that they showed off after the episode aired. I feel like this episode was just alright in general. Not much else to say, but yeah. About it, but that, yeah, didn't. Gotcha. 8 out of 10, which is what pretty much I rated it. I am more excited about next week's episode. What's up, Thomas? I agree with you, Devin. This is pretty crazy how they managed to get Rayquaza. I don't even think it was completely knocked out either, but Roy just used the opportunity to get him in the Pokeball. But yeah. Oh, the proper Pikachu. Hey, what's up? I haven't seen you in a minute. Maybe I'm stupid, but was Rayquaza just testing them, or was he actually evil before they were catched? I don't think they're like... No, I don't know. I don't know why the... I feel like there needs to be an explanation why the hero Pokemon were just, like, so, like violent or whatever against everyone in the beginning. Was it because of a Requiem? Because I know that, that pink haze always showed up with them around, so maybe they were, like, affected by it. I don't know. Maybe this is by bonding or battling them, it eventually wore off. I don't know. Maybe we'll get an explanation, maybe not. Find out in the next episode of Pokemon Horizon Z. So if Lucius and Gibeon were to leave Rayquaza, would they turn to dust? I mean, Gibeon has been outside of Rayquaza, so he's not dust yet. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it, Emerald. It's the series that shall not be named. So, I think Roy will give the 6 heroes back to Lucius, but maybe Rayquaza will want to be part of the Roy's team. Just throwing it out there. We'll see. See what happens. Heck, man. Heck no. It's even more insane with the lower Primal Kyogre and Groudon, yeah. But, if Roy gets Rayquaza, just give it up. Just give him the champion belt at that point. I feel like you just win. Do you think we will see Terrapagos in its stellar form? I am going to assume so. Any speculation on what Spinel could be possibly scheming right now? I might make a video on that. But I've already said a few things in past streams. It probably is going to betray the explorers or something, maybe Gibeon, and do something there. Maybe steal some Requiem or something like that to use for his own gain. Who knows? That's my thought right now. Maybe against Gibeon. Yeah. Honestly, I have more to say about next week's episode than this week's. I think next week's is going to be an interesting one. A Metheo backstory? That'd be cool. Before this should have been remotely possible, all the starters should have been fully evolved. I feel like someone's gonna evolve here, like maybe when we're in Rayquaza though. maybe Florgato. Dexter, what's up? I rate this episode 9 out of 10. Also, do you think any other Paradox Pokemon will show up or not? Well, we're kind of left Area 0, so, well, the ship has kind of sailed there unless we have to come back there for some reason. Which I don't know what we could possibly do there again, since I feel like this was the Area 0 representation for the series. Could have gone a little bit further in, but yeah. I feel this one was kind of cheap. There's no way they beat a Pokemon that can fly into space and shoot meteors from... There was a team of 3 kids and 1 competent guy. I mean, the whole point was Rayquaza was battling in the crater, so because it was in the crater, they were using the terrain to their advantage, which is why they were able to gang up on it, and it was all these Pokemon versus it too. But at the same time, it was literally taking them out one by one. To the point where all we had left standing at the end was Crocodile and Terrapagos. And Terrapagos was given its energy to Crocodile to terrestrialize and land the final move on it. Which even then, I still think Rayquaza was maybe stunned. And Roy used that opportunity to catch it in the ancient Pokeball. Just put it back in its actual Pokeball. And it was weak enough to go in. I don't know. Something like that. I feel... Okay, anyways, I read that. But no, I mean, in general, we saw how OP our originals were in the previous series, and many trainers struggled to even catch them or battle them. Not just talking about Gen 8 series, but even before then. Yeah. These characters are just built different, okay? Pokeverse made a good theory that they will go to Rayquaza, but they will lose to the Explorers, and then the trio will catch and raise a full team of 6. Oh. I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, we're presumably halfway through the series? So it feels like we'd have to really start working on that right after this arc, you know what I mean? Also, we got like 18 people here. What's up, y'all? Remember to hit that like button. Let's get to 10 likes here, maybe more. Please and thanks. I think the woman in the painting from the preview is Amethio's mother. Yep. Either that or her grandma? I'm kind of leaning on grandma, but we'll find out, I guess. The power scaling for Crocodile in this episode was too much. You think so? Except for maybe the last part? I did like the part where it got on top of Rayquaza, though. And used charming voice. I forgot to mention that earlier. That was kind of cool. I mean, there was a few moments where it would have probably been taken out, like when Terrapagos had to use Protect on it. If Terrapagos did not step in at the end there, it would have been, you know, a complete loss. They would have been all, you know, a total wash right there. Because Crocodile wasn't going to last too much longer on its own after Captain Pikachu was taken out. So, just put that in the perspective, you know, and not saying like Terrapagos is like super powerful. I know it's got its full power back, but just kind of throwing that one out there. I kind of hope Roy doesn't keep Rayquaza. I think he'll give it back to Lucius. I don't really get Roy's dream though. I feel like, how did Roy catch Rayquaza when he had its original Pokeball? His goal was to catch it or get it back or whatever. I think something like that. It was released from its ball, but it went back to it. And he kept it the entire time. So the assumption would be that it would go back to it. But now the whole thing is he going to be able to, you know, tame Rayquaza? Is it actually going to go with him, or is it going to stay with Lucius? He might have to make the decision where he's like, you know what? I managed to catch you, you know, but I realize now that, you know, this is where you belong in Rayquaza or something like that. You know, that would be an actual mature decision for Roy. It would show a little bit of maturity and growth on his part. Where, you know, he makes it to his dream, but he realizes that, you know, it's going to be much happier staying in Rayquaza with Lucy. So we'll just say that's what happens. I don't know what's going to happen for sure, but yeah. Who knows? Thanks for the likes, y'all. Keep them coming. Enjoyed the episode, but even I was left a bit baffled on how some of the things were handled. The early strategies was good, but then a hard time seeing they were able to win when Ray got serious. Yeah, but again, we just gotta keep in mind that they were getting taken out one by one by one by one. And again, if Terrapagos didn't step in there, it would have been game over. The starters are already weakened too, so Crocodile lasting as long as it did is actually pretty surprising. Imagine Gideon stands up only to have his legs broken, and if he already isn't a paraplegic. Oof. Man, he needs that Requiem stat. So what are your thoughts on the Area Zero arc? A little bit faster than what I was expecting. I was expecting this to go into February, but I don't know. I kind of feel like they kind of rushed the finale of like the plot to find all the Pokemon or the hero Pokemon. But there's some things I liked about it. The Gita battle was controversial. Had some nice strategies. I do think that Liko actually defeating Gita at the end with the stronger beam struggle, and her winning that. It's a bit much. Songo catching Screamtail is good. I liked it. I liked that episode in general. The Gouging Fire stuff was interesting. They didn't take it out completely, but they did come up with that strategy that they used on Rayquaza, though it didn't quite work on Rayquaza as well as it did with Gouging Fire. But I'll have to think more on this. But I think overall maybe like a 7 or 8 maybe out of 10, something like that. By the way, what's up, Therese? The battle against Lucius Shiny Rayquaza was an epic, no-holds-barred raid battle. Also, I think Rayquaza was only 80% serious while battling the Rising Bolt tacklers. Yeah, it's pretty clear that by the end of it, he's basically earned their respect or whatever. He's not trying to destroy them, but with all the heroes there, he kind of realizes, okay, all right. He's like, all right, now you got them. I'm gonna test you out and see if you're worthy of me going along with you. And yeah. What if Gideon is working with Spinel and Agate in secret? I don't think so, considering they're withholding information from him. It's pretty clear they have their own agenda, and we're probably going to be finding that out. We might even find that out as early as next week's episode, since that's what Amethio and the others are looking into. They're trying to expose Spinel. Roy said earlier in the series that once he catches Rayquaza, he'll be riding on its back, something like that. So maybe he'll get to keep Rayquaza. Maybe we'll see that. That would actually be cool to see that. Roy riding on Rayquaza. I'd actually like to see that. Maybe they'll do that before, whether it goes with him or not. Well, I don't think Rayquaza was defeated by Lit itself going the ball. Dang it, I cannot keep up with chat today. There's so many people here. Oh my gosh. We almost hit 20 concurrent viewers. Okay. Yeah, Roy didn't catch it. Heck, none of the other heroes were caught. They all just returned to their balls, yep. So do you think Lucius and Gideon will die and become spirits later in the series? I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happens, or they just stay in Rakua and they just have to stay there or whatever. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I guess we'll find out soon enough. I feel that, but Spinel seemed to have his own agenda, since in one episode he said something like he will enter Rakua either with Gideon or without. So, Spider Kid Studios. Hey, it's been a while since I've been here, but I'm here because, oh my gosh, I love this episode. Roy handling was so perfect. Loved his treatment so much. Roy will definitely become Rayquaza's trainer later on. We'll see what happens, man. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great day. So do you think Amethio will full on join the Rising Bolt Tacklers after this arc? I'm kind of on the fence that, I'm kind of on the fence with that. I guess we'll have to see what happens. I kind of feel like he's kind of going to be doing his own thing, but it's going to depend on, how things end here, what exactly he finds out about his grandfather. I feel like him, Konya, and Zur are going to be doing their own thing, but I guess we'll see what happens. A reminder once again to hit that like button if you haven't, and also vote in the poll. We have 17 votes so far, which we have 17 confirmed viewers, so maybe everybody voted. But if not, remember, cast your vote and hit that like button if you haven't already. We see Amethio fighting alongside Rico Loindot, so maybe he'll join Rising Bolt Tacklers, maybe. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Are we all in agreement that Roy is a different version of Ash Ketchum, potentially? I think he's his own character. He has some traits that are similar, but he kind of has some traits with Go as well. But I kind of like what they've done with Roy, at least lately. So I guess we'll see where he goes from here. Will he get a new goal, or will his goal maybe change the taming Rayquaza, or getting Lucius's permission? I guess we'll see what happens. Wouldn't be surprised if Spinel and Agate don't show up in the Gibeon and Rayquaza unless it benefits them. In the trailer, Spinel is shown, so he's gonna be there in some shape or form. I agree. Dragon resists fire moves, and even if it's boosted by Terra, I get that. They wanted to have Roy be the one to catch it, but I don't know, man. Roy is so much stronger than the Croc. Maybe so, but remember in episode 45, after Rayquaza was worn down, Fuecoco literally hit it with Flame Charge, and it hurt it pretty bad. So this is a stronger and an evolved Pokemon, and it also boosted by Terra. So I think the explanation is it did more damage this time around, but I don't think it completely knocked it out. Just Roy used that opportunity to throw the Pokeball or the ancient ball at it. And got it in that moment. So Captain Pikachu gets affected by the Requiem and will be very strong to deal with. Yeah, probably. I think that's going to be that might even be where the turning point for the arc happens, where it actually ends up getting taken over by Requiem. Guess we'll see what happens. I wish they lost this fight and then fight Rayquaza in like episode 100. Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like they kind of went through this arc. I think my biggest problem with this arc is the pacing. It is just so fast. It's like the opposite problem from Arc 2. Whereas Arc 2 was very slowly paced, this was just fast paced throughout it. To the point where it just got a little too crazy. Imagine Feral Captain Pikachu. Yeah, we're gonna probably see it. In the preview for the next episode, there was Spinel and Gibeon, but no hint of Agate. That's why I got something in mind, but might be making a video on that, so be on the lookout for that. And we hit 20 people here. Oh my goodness. Definitely a lot of people for this one. What's up, y'all? We'll see on the next week. Yep. It even took out Charizard. Yeah. Devin's favorite Pokemon. I cannot keep up. I don't think I'm going to be able to keep up. I'm going to try my best, but... Yep, and that's what I predicted a while back, that Roy will make the mature decision. Probably. Captain Pikachu will be surrounded by Recurring Mist. I think it will be strong enough to resist, but if it is not Feral Captain Pikachu, yeah, that's a problem. I think that exactly what's going to happen. Lucius was his trainer, but it would be very mature. I think this arc is kind of rushed, yeah. Oh, you haven't seen the subs? I can tell you a few interesting things said in subs. It sets up Roy's next and new goal. I did see the episode. And then go right ahead. Sandy Shock should have showed up in the battle against Gouging Fire and got caught by Roy. I would argue that maybe it should have shown up here or something, but yeah, that ship has kind of sailed now, so unfortunately we won't be getting Roy Sandy Shocks. In case anyone didn't catch Rayquaza, it did take out a fairy type. Didn't catch it. Did indeed take out fairy type Dots Tinkatuff. Yeah, that's the anime again. The dragon move again. Anime does this from time to time. So I think Roy will become Rayquaza's trainer down the line, as in subs say, I'm going to really push myself so that I can be your real partner one day, Rayquaza. Yeah, I saw that. So his next goal is going to be working towards that. Recently, I seen someone in Discord say Spinel would never turn on Gibeon and is loyal. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, we'll see about that. Kilowattrel still has not learned a new move. Like, learn a new move already. Yeah! Kinda, we need to, like, actually do something with it. It's like that meme. Come on, do something. Spunnel. Are you talking about Dragon Descent? Okay. Now it seems like that Spinel is quite deceptive for good. It was Dragon Pulse. If you go back and watch it, then it takes out Tinkertuff. Yep. What do you think? What do you like about Roy recently? Let's see. He did win in the battle against Liko. This episode, he did prove himself a bit in this episode. A little bit in the fight with Gita too. And honestly, he did a little bit in the Cleavor battle too. Just a few examples. Anyways, I gotta really like keep up with Chad, otherwise I am going to get so far behind it's not even gonna be funny. Okay, let's see where we're at. So Roy's next goal is basically gonna be to try to become strong and worthy enough to get Rayquaza's approval and become Rayquaza's future trainer, probably near the end of Horizons. Maybe, we'll see. We'll see what if he achieves it. I hope Roy and Dot catch certain legendary while in the Rayquaza, just so they at least both have one, since Liko has quite a bunch. We'll see about that. As much as that would be cool, I don't know if that's in the cards. It feels like there's, you know, a big climax for this arc coming up here in, like, you know, the next 2 months. Do you think Roy will actually keep Rayquaza by the end of the series? We'll see. It's hard to say. Metheo has teamed up with Freed against Rayquaza in episode 45, so I think this is going to be temporary truces, like, and wanders off Zernonia. Yep. Let's see. I think Florgato might evolve in Rayquaza. I think that the anime moves that don't affect certain types of Pokemon can affect them if there's a big enough level difference. That's why Tinkertuff got, taken out by Dragon Pulse. That's a good point. Maybe. I'm betting on Ametheo's mom in the picture. She's really pretty. It's either his mom or grandma. I feel I'm kind of leaning on grandma, but we'll see, because it kind of seems like a more old-fashioned picture, but more old-fashioned portrait. But we'll see. We don't know yet. The anime does not follow the games. Yeah. Also, Zur and Onia Erconia decides themselves as scientists, so maybe now they too have some major roles in the series. One can hope, right? At least they're getting some focus here. That's for sure. Will there be a Pokemon League or something in the series? And probably not. Even though Liko and Roy aren't exactly like Ash, and they both only have 3 team members each. Liko's team. Yep. Florgato and Terrapagos. I am leaning on no, because this series is telling a story. There might be like an epilogue where like it shows like a post-credits, you know, scene like at when the series ends, where it shows them off doing their own thing. And Gita already encouraged Liko to join the Pokemon League for Paldea, so maybe she'll do that, you know, post-series. That's kind of where I'm leaning at with that. If that actually becomes a thing, it'll be kind of shown that she's participating in the League Challenge after series. Dragon Pulse, yes, it took out Tinkertuff because of anime logic, even though Dragon moves shouldn't affect fairy types. Also, Rayquaza and Dragon Ascent against Terrapagos, yep. Roy's team, Crocodile, Kilowattrel, and something. Maybe Rayquaza? Maybe. Spinel's the kind of guy who would make you and him both a sandwich, but put a peanut butter on yours, knowing you're allergic, instead of just jelly and smile. Yeah, the guy is kind of a little bit of a... He's kind of a mean-eat. He's a big old mean-eat. Probably do a lot worse things, but yeah. I think it's really cool. Coral or Songo is going to Terra's Screamtail. It's kind of amazing. She trained it so quickly in the time she had it. It makes sense because Glalie most likely is going to Mega Evolve. Maybe. Yeah, no, I'm trying. What's Roy's third Pokemon team member? Guess we'll find out. Maybe. I still think he needs to use Kilowattrel a little bit more. Another point is this: it did go in the ball, so I know it approves of me at least a little bit. That's a good point. He just needs to earn its trust a little bit more. Maybe show himself in the upcoming battle in Rayquaza. I believe Zur and Konya will be working with Amethio undercover. Yep. So Roy did get a little approval from Rayquaza, but it's still got a long way to go. Yeah, makes sense. Tinkatuff, not Kano-chan. Oh. I think Coral might go evolve for Glalie. Maybe. Pokefan, true. Smug guy. That's Spinel for you. When do you think we'll get a poster for Arc 5? We usually get that a little bit before the current arc ends. We could get it as early as Pokemon Day, or we could get it sometime in March. The Terrestrial debut arc, we got the poster around mid-March last year, so that would be my assumption, unless they're planning something like an announcement for Pokemon Day, because if you guys didn't see my post I put out earlier, the anipoke Twitter page put out this month's calendar. Obviously we have an episode airing every Friday, but they have Sparkles on Pokemon Day, which is February 27th. So does that mean we're going to get something announced there on Pokemon Day? Besides, like, oh, we're getting another batch of episodes on Netflix. Maybe they're going to announce something? Maybe. Who knows? I hate being tired. Woke up with a little bit of a sore throat from my fan being on. Well, hopefully you get over that sore throat soon, my friend. I think Crocodile will evolve, battling Rayquaza in the future and gain its trust. You know, I have a thought. No, just hang with me for a second, guys. What if Crocodile actually has a battle with Charizard? You know, the Pokemon that it looks up to this entire time. It ends up evolving and actually ends up winning. A little bit of a stretch, or it comes close to winning and it evolves, but it shows it's actually pressuring Charizard or something like that when it evolves. That would be a cool way for it to evolve. Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if Roy or Liko don't catch another Pokemon, possibly Dot. If there's another catch, I would assume that it's going to be a second stage evolution line based on time. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Wow, 21 people here. My goodness. What's up, everyone? We have everybody's here. Remember, guys, hit that like button and vote in the poll if you haven't. Anyways, where was I? I get why Rayquaza is being so distrustful. Bro's seen how Roy treats Kilo and went, oh, heck nah. I don't want to be treated that badly. Yeah, and suddenly its power decreases by 50%. As can be seen in the trailer, Liko would be fighting against Sidon or Onyx again, and Roy versus Coral. That leads me to thought that Dot will face Spinel another time. I wouldn't be surprised if she faces off against Agate or something like that as a distraction, and then, you know, once they're all defeated, we have everyone versus Gibeon, and that's when Spinel makes his move, and whatever that's going to be. Like I said, more to come on that. Consider that we have more evolutions coming. Yeah, maybe. At least the starters. And maybe Tinkatuff. Maybe Hatterene too. Hope in the next arc they catch a full team of 6. We'll see what happens, Thomas. Might just be marked because it's a special day considering it's Pokemon Day. That is true. I don't recall seeing it highlighted last year, but I'd have to go back and check if I can even go back that far a year ago. Because I don't recall that being in Sparkles last year, but I could be mistaken. I'll have to go and look sometime if I can. Do you think Lucius will give Liko, Roy, and Dot the heroes at the end of the Rayquaza arc because he would see their potential and because they took the effort to reunite the heroes? He's either going to do that or they're going to stay with him. Since that they technically are his Pokemon. So I guess we'll see what they decide to do at the end of the series. Or even at the end of this arc. I don't know. It all depends on what's going to be happening at the end here. I wonder about the budget for the current Pokemon anime. It's been great, but at times it seems rushed, right? I mean, that's kind of, it's kind of always been like that, where, you're going to have episodes that are not going to look super great, but then, like, they'll save it for, like, the very important episodes. Usually, I've noticed that the final episodes of these arcs have looked pretty good. So that's what they're probably saving the budget for. They've also had some problems over the last few years due to, a certain big event that happened in 2020 that halted the series for a little bit. So there's also that to consider. I'm expecting a bunch of evolutions for Arc 5. Probably. Roy has the advantage over Coral or Songo since Crocodiles resist Fairy. Will he win? Will he lose? We'll see what happens. I'm actually kind of on that note. Songo and Onyx witnessed that whole Rayquaza and Gouging Fire battle, and it was like, oh, that's pretty neat. Let's go back and report this to Gibeon. Yeah, good guess. I'm going to post something I have my thoughts on for a while in Discord, Mitchell. Okay. Kilowattrel hasn't learned a new move since the very, very, very beginning. I am afraid it won't get another development episode since it's fully evolved. Yeah, I'm kind of worried too. I know it's copium at this point, but I really want Kilowattrel to do something here, or have like a focus or something. Get a new move or something, for crying out loud. Love watching Pokemon anime, but I feel bad that we won't see another new Pokemon movie anytime soon. Yeah. It's kind of hard to do it these days. Who knows if it will ever come back. Almost forgot. If anyone knows, will Pokemon Horizons have movies like the previous series did? Oh, these guys said that at pretty much the same time. I'm kind of unsure at this time. Pokemon Horizon has no movies. Dark joke time, Lucius. Honey, I'm home, despite being gone for over 109 years. Oh, I miss you, Ristle. Skeleton falls apart, sitting on the chair. Oh gosh! She's dust now, bro. I think Lucius and Gibeon could sacrifice themselves to stop Spino. Force the heroes to flee Rayquaza with the heroes, and think throughout Arc 5 we'll see Roy work towards his goal of Rayquaza. Yeah, I feel that's my kind of thought is that like this is obviously like we're going to Rayquaza here, but I feel like something's gonna force us out of there and we have to come back later. How that's gonna go about, I have no idea. Trainer. Do you think we will get another Pokemon movie? I have no clue, Sharon. Maybe someday. Kilowattrel and Heteram movesets are so bad. Why are they learning nothing? Yeah. They need to actually, use their second Pokemon. But they don't. Or at least not enough. That worldwide situation being felt today, yeah. One example is the movies and how we had some delays. Little concerned about things kind of going on now, but don't want to kind of get into a whole discussion about that. Just hope things don't ever get worse like that ever again. Do you think Gibeon and Lucius will sacrifice themselves to stop Spinel and save Rayquaza? It's gonna be dependent on if they're able to kind of just convince Gibeon that what he's doing is just reckless. And to stop or whatever. Maybe Terrapagos actually does something to kind of snap him out of things. That's the only way I see something like that happening. I think Spino will take over the Explorers after Arc 4 due to backstabbing Gibby in Area 0. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I wouldn't be surprised if they went a route where it was like, here is Spinel's version of the Explorers, and it's him, Agate, and then Sango and Onyx. And then we have Amethio's Explorers, so he takes over from his grandpa, and it's basically him, Zerg, and Konya. And so they're like going up against each other. So like, Amethio doesn't join the Reisenville Tacklers. He's kind of got his own thing that he wants to achieve, but his whole goal is going to be taking down the other side of the Explorers and basically, you know, reforming them or something. I don't know. I know that's kind of pure speculation at this point, since we still don't know exactly what's going to happen going into, you know, February and March. The one thing that should point out, and I didn't make a follow-up video on this, but in the summary for episode 84, they mentioned that the Black Rayquaza spells a bad omen. And I'm wondering if that's going to kind of be foreshadowing as to what's going to go down in Rakua. Like, there's something bad's going to happen, and maybe Rakua starts to leak out into the world, and they have to try and contain it again. Maybe, like, Terrapagos has to stay behind. I don't know. It's hard to say. Been thinking this since the beginning, not gonna lie. I guess we'll see what happens. Do you think most humans in the Pokemon world would age and die like normal human beings? I mean, I'm gonna just assume so, considering, you know, Ristel's not hanging around, and it seems like Lico's great-grandmother isn't around, so I would assume so. Something affected other shows outside Pokemon too, yeah. Last two Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. I could see Sango and Onyx switching sides, maybe, probably joining Metheo or something. Yeah, so would it just be Spinel and Agate just doing their own thing? I wouldn't be. Don't be surprised if like Spinel backstabs Agate and just basically like, oh, you were just being used this whole time. I would not be surprised if he did something like that. True, 100%. Daily reminder: everyone, male admin and explorers have a geometric shape in their design. Sitting their side on, or Onyx has squares. If I remember correctly, Metheo triangles. Spinel has circles. That's kind of neat. A good attention to details. I think maybe the Recruiting will spread all over the Pokemon world due to Spinel's actions. So basically, that's the end of the Pokemon world. Because what are you going to do at that point? It's going to cause all Pokemon everywhere to just go crazy. You know, that would actually be crazy at the end of the series where, like, it's spreading and they have to, like, stop it. And, like, Terrapagos has to, like, absorb all the Recurium since it opposes it at the end to basically save the world. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the route they took. I think there's going to be a incident at Rakua that forces them to have to return. Random thought: Freed sacrifices himself and Rakua, possibly Lucius, is Freed comes onto the crew. That would be insane. What a twist. And so now that Freed's gone, and like maybe like Captain Pikachu has to stay behind or whatever. Maybe like Captain Pikachu gets taken over by the Recurium and he ends up saving it, giving it over to Terrapagos or something like that, and stays behind. That would be a crazy twist. So then the kids have to basically fend off for themselves at that point. That would actually be cool. Because then it'd be like, okay, you know, we have to stand, we need to step up now and go back and save Freed. You know, he obviously, you know, he's stuck behind, so we have to, you know, do the saving. And it would come full circle because, you know, throughout the beginning of this series, he kept saving them constantly. And then when he's the one that's in trouble, the kids have to come back and save him. That would actually be cool. I think that would be interesting. It'd be kind of crazy to see Freed go, but like him getting pulled out of the story and the kids have to save him at the end. I kind of like that idea a little bit. I don't know if that's the route they'll take though. And then they have to basically calm him down because he's, you know, taken over by the Requiem. I don't know, like Gibeon. But then again, Lucius isn't seemingly affected by Requiem, so who knows? Speaking of movies, I can see they announced a movie finally for coming out next year for the 30th. They could. We'll see what gets announced on, you know, Pokemon Day. Next year, that is. Therese says, I just realized now that Lucius is alive and they have to now make him an actual character. Yep, he's going to meet them, and it's going to be interesting to see how he's handled here. Oh, absolutely. I've been enjoying waiting with my popcorn for Agate to be shocked she was betrayed by the master manipulator. See, that'll be interesting. I would like the kids to save Freed since he was saving the kids a lot. See? I think that would be neat, but I don't know if that's the route they're going to take. Because, like, there's no way, like, the series is ending, like, in, like, 2 months or whatever. Like, they could go 2 routes with this. Either this is the end of, like, the whole plot that's been going on so far in the series, and then, you know, the remainder of the series is going to be, you know, something else, which I feel like that would be kind of strange because, like, the whole series is built around, you know, the hero Pokemon, Lucius, the Explorers, Gibeon, you know, Trapagos, all this stuff, and it'd be weird to kind of rip it away and then, you know, do something else for, like, the remainder of the time that we have with the series. I feel like this is something's going to happen here. We're going to have a big battle here, and then whatever happens at the end is going to basically determine where we go from here for the rest of the series. Do you think humans can become violent from the Requiem? I don't know, but apparently it affected Gibeon enough for him to basically go crazy. So maybe, but Lucius is unaffected for an unknown reason. Or he just got used to being around Requiem, that he's just like, hey, you know, I'm used to it, so, you know, I'm fine now, but who knows. Yeah, that'd be cool, yep. Agate maybe already suspecting Spinel in something. She seems intelligent. That is possible. A Terror Rake, the new movie. There's a new movie, but it's in development hell. I'm gonna just say once again, you need to take those leaks with a grain of salt because I'll just say this once again: the person that was spreading that stuff spread a lot of false information about not only the games but even like the Pokemon anime. So I am inclined not to believe him. So I would say I don't really trust that. I mean, if a new movie is announced, I think I agree with Emerald. I think the best time to announce it would be for the 30th anniversary. An interesting battle to happen would be Songo, Coral, and Onyx Sidon versus Amethio's loyal assistants. With their names, someone help me with their names, please. It's Zerg and Konia, or Onia, however you want to say your name. But aren't they just grunts? And they literally were losing to like Liko and Roy earlier in the series, specifically Konia. So like, what are they gonna do against Songo and Onyx? I feel like they would stomp them. I think there will be 1 or 2 more arcs after this. I think at a minimum 1. We got 1 more at least, but I feel like we will go into next year. Let's hope they won't screw it like the Mewtwo Strikes Back. Oh, you're talking about the remake? Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, no. I don't want them to do something like that ever again. Just watch the original, bro. I still feel like Spinel won't survive at the end of it. I really feel hesitant, definitely getting mauled probably by his own out of control Umbreon and recruiting him. Yeah, probably like he'll get like defeated or whatever, and he'll try to escape, and then it just finds him, and then boom, we don't see it happen, but we can just assume that something bad happened to him. Hope it's something new. So do you think they might reveal something new for Pokemon Horizons for Pokemon Day? I don't know. I find it kind of interesting that they have the 27th sparkled. Like I said, I don't know. The one thing I remember they mentioned last year was like for Netflix, stuff for Netflix, so I was just like, oh. And I think they did something for like Pokemon Go with Liko and Roy. But I don't know if they had sparkles last year, so I have to go. That's why I said I got to go back and like look into that if I can find it. We're going back a year, so I don't even know if I can get access to that. So I'll have to see if Bulbapedia or something has that. I feel something will happen with Freed. The current Japan intro shows Freed, Spinel, and Metheo. I believe I could be wrong. I have to double check. No, Spinel really was the main reason why I started watching Pokemon Horizons. Of course, then I got engaged into plot. So if he dies, no comments. I mean, look, he is like potentially going to be the main villain of the series, depending on how this arc goes. He's clearly got an agenda of his own, so I mean, he kind of is a villain. So can't really let the villain win in the end, Maybe he'll get put in Poke jail. Go hang out with Chairman Rose and be like, oh, what you in for? I tried to destroy, just destroy my region because I'm impatient. What about you? Oh no, just tried to release like a substance onto the world that takes basically over everything. No big deal. I think Spinel might get killed off screen. They need to do what they did to Lysander and just blast him. One thing I like the new one is that they gave the official subversion. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Off-screen death with him screaming. Yeah, and then you're gonna watch the dub censor that, and then they take out the screaming, so you have no context. So it's like, oh, Spinel just like disappeared. What happened to him? I don't know. We just don't have to deal with him anymore. I guess he learned his lesson. He went back home. He got put in the corner. How did Spinel get Umbreon since it evolves with high friendship? I don't know. Maybe he stole it. Have Terrapagos blast Spinel into oblivion. And Terrapagos just looks mad at him. He's like, have mercy. And then it just Terra blasts him. And then he disintegrates. Goodbye, Spinel. It was an epic way to beat Lysander. I highly hope that it's Pokegel. Don't kill the most cool and dark villain of Pokemon. But what if he escapes and that becomes the plot for Pokemon Horizons 2? Electric Boogaloo. We did get a brutal Cyrus death. Him intentionally jumping into a portal that was shredded by pieces of Dialga and Palkia. Yeah, I think where he was going doesn't have oxygen, so he's probably, yeah. Oof. Bro, Lash Hub. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Welcome in. What a stream. This is probably my biggest, like, Pokemon Horizons live stream ever. I can't believe I hit 22 concurrent viewers. This is actually crazy. Thank you so much, everyone. Again, if you haven't voted in the poll, go ahead and do so. And if you haven't liked the stream, go ahead and do that. It helps. We're bringing in new people. It's been a good one. I would like to see Liko and Dot become Pokemon. Technically, we kind of had that happen in that one episode, that one Kitakami episode, where Roy basically switched bodies with Crocolar. I think that's the closest you're going to get to that. Huh. Okay. Yeah. Is this what it's going to be like once we get to the end of Horizons? Is it going to be like 50 people here? That'd be insane. Everybody's here for that one. I would like for Liko to become Florgato and Dot to become Quaxwell. That could have happened in that one episode, but the machine broke, or the device broke. It would be interesting if Roy caught Zapdos, Dot caught another legendary while in Rayquaza. Oof. Not trying to like deny you or anything, but them catching legendaries like that would be a really big deal. I feel like the first episode they're going to be checking out Rayquaza, and that's when they're going to... In the end of the episode, they're going to run into Lucius or something like that. Or even run into him sooner. And then the next episode is going to be engaging against the Explorers, and we're going to probably have, like, the big clash against Gibeon, and then the climax. I wonder how many episodes we're going to have in March, because I feel like we're getting to the end of this core, so... In March, so maybe like 3 episodes in March, maybe 4? Is this a Earthbound remix? At least it's using the Earthbound sound font. That's cool. I think their starter Pokemon will be affected by Recurium and become feral. As of right now, we just know Captain Pikachu is, but I guess we'll see. Maybe one of them does. You know what would be interesting if the starter Pokemon actually got affected by it and it's a secondary Pokemon that have to come out and calm them down. But then again, would they last against them? So since it's been a bit now, I'm kind of curious. Y'all think the new trailer was we're wrong for spoiling stuff, despite us already knowing the stuff was revealed would happen? Honestly, do not get why people were mad about it. I don't know if I'm necessarily mad about it. The only things in there that were a little bit like, I don't know. I'd say the whole, like, Amethio joining up with them and Lucius being there was a little bit, they could have kept Lucius a mystery still, in my opinion. Because it could have been like, oh, hey, you know, are we going to find him or something like that? But then, like, the Explorers show up and kind of just mess things up. I don't know. Those are, like, the only 2 things in there. It's like, oh, well, we know what Amethio's resolve is going to be. He's clearly going to be aligned against his grandpa. So, it kind of, like, spoils the plot for the next episode a little bit. But, yeah. We just don't know what they're going to be doing beyond this. So funny how every character I like in any show is an antagonist. They mostly get demolished and they end dying or something. I mean, that usually happens, especially if they've committed some pretty heinous atrocities. I think if you do something like that, you kind of deserve some sort of punishment, you know, for your actions. Pokeferlax. Yeah, I saw that. I imagine at least Liko's Florgato became affected by the Recurium. Maybe. Second, calm down. The starters, nuke them, and then they die immediately. The end. And that's how we end up and that's how we escape from Rayquaza. I don't know what happened next. The next thing I knew, we were fleeing from the area because it was just like imploding. And we get an angry feral kitty. Oh boy. Angry Florigato. Maybe it overcomes it and that's how it evolves. Revealed too much. Guess it kind of how movie trailer spoiler movies with a certain scenes of them letting people see them when the movie is out. That's my only two issues with that trailer is like, okay, now it just showed, yeah, Lucius is alive. I mean, we kind of all expected that, but to be honest with you, I think the Lucius one is probably not as egregious just because it's like, okay, Gibeon is clearly over 100 years old, and they haven't outright said anything, but the Requiem is clearly what has basically caused him to like live as long as he has. So Lucius being surrounded by it, it makes sense that he's alive and there and hasn't like shown any signs of aging. Amethio joining up with them kind of spoils the next episode, though. That would be my only, like, that probably is the only real gripe. I'm like, oh, well, we know what his resolve is going to be. It's going to be against his grandfather, and he's going to join up with the Rising Tacklers to, you know, stop him or something. I just want to know what exactly he's going to learn in the next episode. Like, we might actually get Gibeon's actual, like, goal, like his end goal. Like, what he actually wants to do. So, and that's why he's going to be like, yep, I got to stop my grandpa. My dad couldn't do it, but I'm going to do it. Someone's got to do it, right? I like spoilers. They get me excited for the next episode. Yesterday I was so happy that even my mom asked what got me so obedient today. Oh, I see. I mean, to me, I don't think so. We already knew Lucius was alive from the crystal pool. And as for the Amethio being against Gibeon, it adds up after how he was treated. So, to me, it definitely not the worst they've done. I mean, going into this next episode, they're like, hey, we're going to expose Spinel. And, you know, obviously, you know, Amethio's still hurting from being expelled from the Explorers, but he obviously wants to get back at Spinel. But it seems like he's going to discover something about his grandpa. That's why he's going to oppose him and Rakua, so he learns Grandpa Gibeon did give him a Terra Order. Reference to the previous Mitchell Mander stream. Gotcha. It would be interesting if in a new upcoming episode, I assume that's what you mean, if all Paldean starters evolved at the same time? That would be crazy. That would be something, but I don't really think that's the route they'll take. I know they did that in the prior series, the Darkest Day arc, but they did that with 2 Pokemon versus 3 here. I mean, I think Florigato evolving at the end of this arc is a strong possibility. We'll just see what happens. Heck, they all literally got like all this like training going up against all these like super powerful Pokemon. I wouldn't be surprised if they all evolve very soon. That's what I was alluding to, Emerald. I love this village theme. One thing I kind of wanted was Crocodile to evolve against Rayquaza, but oh well. That would have been cool. We're just not quite there yet. And they say Breath of the Wild has bad music when this exists. okay. Well, at least I managed to catch up on the chat. It took me all stream to do so, but hey. It's okay. We got a lot. We had a pretty decent crowd here. Still got 10 people here. 11 people. Another daily reminder, Spindle is named after a gem, as well as a Methio. You mean a gem. I thought I read that as gem for some reason. Gem. A Methio. Zirconia. Yep. Zirconia. You know, agate. Songo. Onyx. Yeah. It's a theming. They're named based on gems. That happens a lot in some series. Well, they'll name them based off of a certain... they'll be referenced to something. Kind of like in Dragon Ball, where the Saiyans are all named after vegetables. Amongst the many other things that Toriyama did. But, yeah, we have been going for an hour and 20 minutes, and I have lost track of time. So, yeah, this is usually the point where we kind of start to slow down on the stream. So, at this point, you know, whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm good until we kind of start to slow down here. Okay, funny thought yet. When Spinel potentially takes over, he tells Sango to have a demon pudding, as I call it Screamtail, to use Hyper Voice, Boom Blast, to blast them all away, and it actually works. Boink. Crystal Gems. Truly, Pokemon Horizons is on another level than original Saga, so much interesting details. I think in some areas the writing's better, yeah. And more interesting. I do like the more plot focus that this series has decided to do to differentiate itself. That's been a nice change of pace for the series, I'd say. Yep. I forgot Hatterene doesn't evolve into a fairy psychic until it evolves into its final form. Hatterene. Yeah, that's, you know, again, you got 1,000+ Pokemon, and you're bound to kind of not keep track of every single detail with them. It's gonna keep happening as more of them come along. We're gonna get to the point where each gen is only gonna have like 5 new Pokemon. They can't come up with any more. Oh boy. Anyways. Exactly. I firstly was skeptical about the new series, but when I watched the first episodes, I never felt so guilty for my accusations. Like I said, you gotta just give it a chance. Like, you don't want to just not try it out just because a certain someone is retired. I get people's attachment with them, but you know, they're trying something new, and obviously this series has tried to differentiate itself as much as possible. So I like the direction they've taken with this. It's very risky and bold, but I think that it was worth it in the end. People look at me weird for calling it Demon Pudding, but I absolutely love how stupid the name is, despite the translation being wrong. You're fine. So we got Blood Moon Ursulin wasn't Steel Ground. Because I have to. For a long time I thought that. But yeah, overall, I think that this has been a very enjoyable watch, this series. It's it might be the most interested I've been in the anime, probably, like, arguably ever. But I just my personal preference is like whatever follows this needs to continue this trend of like, you know, change, not just changing things up, but doing its own thing. And not try to replicate what came before it. That way you get a unique experience. I think Liko, Roy, and Dot's Pokemon need to evolve individually sometime across certain episodes. Probably. I'm gonna head off. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Alright, Kevin. Thank you so much for joining again. Pleasure talking to you. We'll see you hopefully again soon. Yeah, an old leak said it was Steel Ground, but never noticed that it wasn't true. That's leaks for you. You get a bunch of truths and some lies. Well, the writing better be better, because, yeah, there were quite a few controversial episodes, to say the least. The controversial episodes are really more, like, late, like, recent, rather than, like, earlier in the series. I mean, there are leaks that are true. It's not just rumors. There is some truth to some of them, but then there's also some that are just blatantly false. Now I'm able to see clearly how repetitive Pokemon is after the cover of nostalgia falling off my eyes, so I definitely make the decision to make something new. See, yeah, that's what I'm saying, is like, yeah, you just gotta give it a chance. Like, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing, but, like, it's just... I kind of applaud the series for, like, having a little bit more freedom. And not trying to, like, do each series the same. Have the same formula. I mean, the last, like, 2 series have kind of deviated, but this series has been, like, a complete deviation. Pokemon anime writers, take a page from Miles' book, please. Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm talking about more recent, not the beginning. Hopefully. Well, that's the only caveat in all of this is because it's more plot focus, it hinges on its plot. So, like, if we get to the end of this series and the ending doesn't land, it can basically ruin the whole series. So that is the one risk that they're taking with Pokemon Horizons. If the ending does not land for this series, it could potentially ruin it. And I don't want that to happen. But if this ending for this series ends up being a good one, then this could end up being maybe potentially one of the best Pokemon anime series, if not the best. I mean, in the prior Pokemon series, you had there were arcs that you had, like, in certain areas, but they weren't like the story for, like, the whole series. So, like, one arc being bad isn't going to ruin, you know, the whole series as a whole. You know, I'll give you an example. Okay, Team Flare arc and X and Y. I think genuinely everyone believes it's a solid arc. But, like, imagine if that were not, like, that ended poorly. Would that ruin X and Y completely? Probably not. I know the League had that effect with people, but, like, that arc basically kind of slightly made up for that. But there's that, but, like, then there's other stuff, like in Sun and Moon, the whole Necrozma arc was not particularly great. Are you talking about the whole Greninja stuff? I think some stuff after Team Flare was a bit sloppily handled. Mainly how Greninja left. That was actually, like, not good. But I think the actual like last episode we're at the airport was part of it was good. But I'm saying is like, did some of that stuff at the end completely ruin that series? I'd say no, just because people still talk about X and Y as like the best Pokemon series, which it's not in my opinion, but I'm putting that out as an example. Then the Crozma arc in Sun and Moon. I like Sun and Moon still as my favorite, but I will admit that arc was not the best. But did it ruin Sun and Moon for me? Not really. But however, this series is hinging on its story because it's the whole series is based around it. So if the ending for this series does not land, it kind of messes with the whole series. Anyways, let me get back to chat before I get off. Gonna go eat and get ready. Had my friends soon. Been fun like usual. Hope you all have a great day or night wherever you're at. Thank you so much, PokeFan. Once again, thank you for joining. It was a pleasure. Hopefully you have fun at your friend's house, and we'll see each other soon. Have a good one. I have speculation to believe that Spinel will get his redemption arc. New series appeared to have more serious grip on their characters. You think Spinel's going to have a redemption arc? What is he going to have to do, though, to earn that redemption? I mean, I agree that the arc in Sun and Moon is better than the League in X and Y, but people still bring up about how great the series is. That's all I hear still, is like, oh, it's still the greatest series of all time. I'm kind of just putting it out there. That seems to be like a general consensus among people. I think Sun and Moon's League is better. I think there are still a few issues I have with it, but I do think it's better just because they showed off every single battle. Whereas in the prior league, they kind of like skipped a bunch of them right to the end of the quarterfinals, which was a decision. But I don't really want to get into that discussion though. This is not what we're talking about. Most of his Pokemon are evolving through friendship, so he must not be so bad inside. Maybe he was good at some point, but he changed. Yeah, they didn't give it a chance because of the art style, and that, yeah. And immediately wrote the series off, which had a rough start. Let's not like say that the beginning of the series is good. It had a rough start, but it got better over time. I have my own explanation as to why it got better, but yeah. Again, I don't want to get into like a whole like discussion about that, since this is not what we're supposed to be talking about here. Here to see his backstory, and he's still so mysterious. Yeah, maybe we will get him backstory for him. That'd be cool. Yep. Anywho, we've gone over an hour and a half now, so what else you guys got for me? We got 11 people here still. My goodness, what a stream this has been. 25 votes as well. 72% voted 10-9. Oh my gosh. Looks like 8% voted lower than 5. Looks like 2 people didn't like this episode particularly much. One person voted 6-5, 4%, and then 16% voted 8-7, which that is 4 votes. So that means 19 people voted 10-9. Nice. Okay. Anything else, you guys? Usually this is the point where we start wrapping things up here. We've kind of gone a little bit longer than normal, but we did have a larger crowd than we usually do. Makes me wonder how the end of the Pokemon Horizons is going to go if we had like 22 people show up for this one. Maybe we'll have 50? Maybe 50? I will say that I appreciate how the series that shall not be named told us that it makes sense that Ash's Greninja is aura base. I mean, we kind of could have assumed that. That was kind of the assumption for a long time, too. Well, if someone still remember, Roy also got his parents. Do you think they'll appear again? I wouldn't be surprised if there's an episode in the future that tackles that. Aura power. Wow. Okay, guys. You guys got anything else for me? Anything? The floor is yours. I've pretty much run through all I wanted to talk about today. Getting a little hungry too. Wonder what I should do for lunch. Should I do Subway? That'd be cool. Okay, it was cool seeing Terrapagos use ancient power. Yeah. Okie dokie. I think that's all I got. I'm happy to stick to your stream for the first time. Well, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. It's been fun. Hopefully, we get to see more in the future. Typically do these on Saturdays around 12 o'clock Eastern Time Zone. Occasionally we'll have some deviations due to obviously me being busy on like a Saturday or something like that, or me being out of town. So you might have like some slight changes, but if there's nothing else going on for me, I usually do this on Saturdays, 12 o'clock Eastern Time Zone. Alright. Anything else, guys? Hey, look, some Final Fantasy music again. Breezy. Alright, I'll give it another minute here, and otherwise we'll probably wrap things up. So I'll just say, if you haven't liked the stream, please do so. And also vote in the poll while we still have time. Thanks for sharing your mind. I never was a person to watch a stream for such a long time, but yours was so interesting. Well, thank you. I try to make it interesting, you know. I'm kind of doing this all by myself. Just relying on everybody here to kind of show up and, you know, leave their chats and then give my thoughts on the episode and stuff like that. But also got the lo-fi music in the background too, so I try my best. But yeah, hopefully we'll see you in the next one. We usually have a fun time here, so. Next stream should be the Amethio episode 1, so yeah. Okay. Anything else, guys? I think I'm gonna give it another minute here. Well, you taking off, Emerald? Alrighty. I will talk to you later. Thanks for joining. If you get a good rest until the next one, take care and sleep well. Will do. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. It was a pleasure speaking to you today. And then we'll see what happens for next week. Alrighty, guys. I think we're gonna go ahead and call it here. Definitely had a pretty big crowd here. Thank you. Also a pleasure. It's all mine. Thank you. But yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and end things off here. It's been a great stream. I think this is a record for the amount of people that were here. 22. We got up to 22 concurrent viewers. So thank you so much, everyone. We got 14 likes. And it looks like we got 25 votes in the poll. You guys are awesome. See you, Hexter Dexter. Thanks for joining. Hope you have a great rest of the weekend. We'll see you. Hopefully, we'll see you in the next one. Anywho, we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up here. Let's end the poll. We have 25 votes, and again, 10-9 won the poll. 72%. As you can see the results there now. It appears that the majority of people like this episode, so I gave the episode an 8. How about we meet at like an 8.5 maybe? 8.5, maybe 9. Something like that as the overall rating. So yeah. Oh, more Final Fantasy music. So I'd say it's an 8, but if people are saying it's a 10-9, let's get. Oh, I guess we can go with a 9, I suppose. Anywho, that's all I got for today's stream. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. We'll be doing Final Fantasy IX on Monday and Thursday next week. And we should be finishing up the game, so I'll be doing that as my Let's Play stream for the week. I might actually have another Horizons video in the making. That'll be coming out next week, maybe. Maybe I'll try to get it up before Friday's episode. We'll see. But, yeah. So anyways, guys, if you're still here, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of the day or night wherever you're at. And I will see you all later. Bye now.